Notes tonight just carries over. We're going to do a few of these examples. We'll do 3 together. This is just carry over from what we did yesterday using the rooftop to factor these out. The first blank here, when we're factoring, it's very important that you look for a greatest common factor, the GCF. Look for that first. That's the first thing you need to look for. And again, right here, it says, is there a greatest common factor? Try to factor 3 terms and trinomial using rooftop. So here you go. Let's do example A first. First thing, look at what's given to you. You have 1, 2, 3 terms. What do they have in common? Is there anything we can factor out just from the get-go? Well, I see there's a 4, 24, 32. Those all have a 4 in common. So let's factor out a 4 before we even before we start to rooftop. Let's factor out this 4. If I factor out the 4, that's going to give me an x squared here. That's going to give me 4 times 6 is 24, so it's going to be a 6x. And 4 times 8 is 32, so that's going to give me an 8. All right, now that we factored out the 4, let's rooftop. So we start with rooftop. We do the first times the last. And we can draw our x over here. First times last, that's x squared times 8. That gives me 8x squared. Okay. The middle term goes on the bottom, so that's 6x. So 6x is going to go right here. Now I got to figure out what times what gives me 8x squared and adds together to give me a 6x. 2 times 4 is what I'm thinking. So that's 2x and 4x, both of them being positive. 2 plus 4 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. Yes, that works. Okay, now let's rewrite this part in the middle. I'm going to put it underlined in green. Let's rewrite this part. Leave the 4 out to the side. Just leave the 4 out here. We're going to bring it down to the end. We'll have that in our final answer. Just leave the 4 out to the side that we factored out. All right. Okay, if we rewrite this, it's going to be x squared. And we have our plus 2x plus 4x and then our plus 8. Okay. We combine the first 2 terms in parentheses and the last 2 terms in parentheses. We can factor out an x, so we make that x times, it's going to be x, and this is going to be 2, plus 2. And over here we can factor out a 4, so that's a positive 4, so plus 4. 4 times x, 4 times, so that's a plus 2. You can always make sure we did it right. X plus 2, we did it right. So our answer here is going to be the first term, so I'll do it in green. X plus 4. X plus 4 in parentheses. And then the second terms, I'll do them in blue. The second terms is the other parentheses, which is x plus 2. Now, our final answer, put it all together, bring the 4 back, so it's 4 times x plus 4 times x plus 2, and that would be the final answer. So the only thing different here from what we did yesterday with the rooftop is that first step is factoring out. We factored out the 4 at the beginning, and then we solved that problem using that trinomial, and we brought the 4 back at the end. That is the original factored out. Let's do a couple more. Let's do D. So if we do D, look at it. Is there anything we can factor out? 3, 5, 28. No, nothing there you can factor out because 3 and 5 don't have anything in common. What about p's? You have p to the 4th, p to the 3rd, p squared. They all have a p squared in them. P squared, they all have 2 p's. So we're going to bring out p squared. Okay, so it's p squared times, this will be 3, and then p squared times p squared gives me p to the 4th, so that's p squared. Minus, this is 5, and then this is p to the 3rd, this is p squared, so we need another p. minus 28 p squared, so it's just 28. All right, so this is what we'll work with. Now let's rooftop. So again, the p squared that we factored out, that's going to stay out. That's going to stay out here to the side. We won't use it till the very end. We won't use it till we use it in our answer. We factored it out. Rooftop. First times last. You can set your x up. 3p squared times negative 28. That's going to give me a negative 84. P squared. The middle term is negative 5p, so over here is negative 5p. Now I got to figure out what times what gives me negative 84. You might have to play with this. You might have to use a calculator to figure out what times what is negative 84. Then when you add together, it gives me a negative 5. Well, after playing with it a little bit, I know that negative 12p times a positive 7p. How I found that? I just did 84 divided by 3, 84 divided by 4, 84 divided by 6, 84, and I ended up 84 divided by 7 was 12. So I knew that 12 and 7 were factors of 84, and 12 minus 7 is a 5, so I knew that these were the factors I'm looking for. Now I just got to figure out, okay, positive, negative. This top number was negative. The bottom number is negative. So the bigger number in the middle here needs to be negative. So negative 12p plus 7p gives me negative 5p. Yes, that works. Let's rewrite what we have. We have 3p squared minus 12p plus 7p minus 28. All right. We separate the first two and the last two. We can factor out right here. We can factor out a 3p, which would give me just a p here. And over here would give me minus 4, because 3 times negative 4 would give me minus 12p. Over here we can factor out a 7. Positive 7, which would give me again p minus 4. P minus 4, p minus 4, those are the same, so we're good. All right. Last step, do the first numbers in green, so that's 3p and plus 7. So the first one is 3p plus 7. That's a 3. Second number in blue is just our p minus 4, which we got from what was in our parentheses. Put it all together, we have our p squared that we got at the very beginning. We factored it out, times 3p plus 7 times p minus 4. And that is our correct answer. It's the same steps as rooftop method that we're doing. The only thing different, guys, is we're factoring out, we're looking at the beginning and we're finding that greatest common factor and we're just keeping it out to the side and attaching it at the end. Let's do one more on the back side of your notes. Let's just go ahead and do G. The area of the rectangular sign is 7x squared minus 20x minus 3. The width of the sign is 7x plus 1. Find the length. Okay, so it gives us the width. We're trying to find the length, and it gives us the area. Let's factor this area out and figure out what the missing part is. Is there a greatest common factor? 7, 23? No, there's not. So let's just go straight into rooftop. If you multiply the first and last, that's going to give me negative 21x squared. So that goes on top, negative 21x squared. The bottom is negative 20x. Okay, I'm thinking 1 and 21. These are both negative. So I think it's going to be negative 21 x times x gives me 21x squared. Negative 21 plus x could give me, yes, that's right. So 7x squared minus 21x plus x minus 3. Group the first two terms and the last two terms. That, if I factor these out right here, I'll factor out a 7x, which would leave me with x minus 3. If I bring, these don't have anything in common, so it's just bring out the 1, so plus 1. 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. So my factors on this problem are 7x plus 1 times x minus 3. Notice 7x minus 1, that's what they gave us in the problem. So that's the width, that's the width. This is the length. And that was the piece that we were missing. All right, guys. We can go over a couple tomorrow, and we'll see you. Hope you have a great evening.